Hello everybody, this is Dirk Schiemann with a special video that is related to a video from my friend Rainer Birkle who introduced the Anki method. That is a method of how to learn backgammon with Anki Flashcards. These cards are used, for example, to learn languages and stuff, and actually anything. And he did a great effort to program it that way that it really works well for backgammon learning. And I contributed with some positions from my backgammon database about splitting to the bar just as a sample deck, and we will talk about the positions of that deck that is available. You have to email Rainer. It's for free. It just should show you how well it works to study backgammon with Anki cards and how much fun it actually is. So today we'll talk a little bit about the Anki method, but mainly about the positions from that deck. And without further ado, let's just have a look. So the deck is called Dirk's Bar Split. So I'll open it and I'll click Study Now, and the first position appears. And so you see the position and you see some options how to move the 6-2. We have here number A, slotting the 5 point, running out to the 16, bringing 2 men down, or splitting. So one of the options in this deck will always be splitting to the bar. And in this case, shall we split to the bar? And the answer is clearly yes. White is brought 2 builders down and is trying to build a prime. And so by splitting to the bar, we create a distraction. So just white cannot build valuable inner board points peacefully because of the outfield plots. So it's a really good idea to split aggressively to the bar and not try to play catch up by bringing slotting the bar or the 5 point. So since these are my positions, I probably will know all the answers. Would be fun if I get one wrong. But so what you can do now, either you can go directly to the answer and click Show Answer, or, and that is what I recommend, type in the letter of the answer that you think is correct, in this case D, and then click Show Answer. Both ways will lead to the same result. You will then see the 4 moves analyzed in ++, and as you can see, indeed it's correct to split to the bar. And the slotting plays are significant mistakes. Running out to the 16 is basically the same idea, creating a distraction, but yeah, fighting for the bar point is indeed stronger. So, but this is not all. If you scroll down, and there are some more moves to see, and you can also, if you are interested, see the correct moves in different situations like DMP, gammon save, and gammon go. Then you also have the XJIT file. And by the way, here is where you can order the deck for free. Rainer at Backgammon Livestream DE. And okay, so that's, if you're interested, maybe after having watched the video, just test yourself with this free deck. But okay, so now you can decide after either if you get it right or wrong, you can decide if you found that problem hard or rather easy, and depending upon that, the card will come up again after a certain time. The harder you found the problem, the sooner the card will reappear. So I have put here easy. You can customize this all in 2.7 years, which is just if I know a position and I know that I won't get it wrong, so that it's just gone. But for practical purposes for this video, I will always press on good. So press good. So then the card will reappear within a day. But this you can also customize. But let's continue with the positions. So now again a 6-2 to play. And again one choice is splitting to the bar. Problem that you have with splitting to the bar here is that when you have, first of all, you have the checker on the 23. Ideally, you want to have the other checker on the 24. So that makes it easier for your opponent to attack on the 23. And what also happens is that ideally, if you get hit on the bar point, you want to have the 6s as returns and not the 5s. So that's a downside. But there's one play that is really a lot more appealing than splitting to the bar. It's just the so-called tempo hit on the deuce point, because by putting your opponent on the bar, he has to use half of his roll to re-enter, and it's a lot more difficult or fewer numbers that make the 4 points. So here you should enter and keep your opponent busy by hitting on the deuce point. At least that's what I think. So let's type in C, and you can see that is correct. And splitting to the bar is a significant mistake, I would say. So let's just speed this up a little bit. Next problem. You have to enter with the 4. And again, if you split to the bar, you have this structure. You have a blot on the 21, a blot on the 18. So let's look at white's hitting numbers. On the 18, it's 6s, aces, and deuces. On the 21, it's deuces, 4s, and 5s. So what that means, any number except for a 3, I think, yeah, hits a blot. So that means there will be lots of double hits. So many numbers will hit 2 checkers, and that is what you really want to avoid. So generally, splitting to the bar and having a blot on a higher point like the 20, 21, 22 is not a good idea. There are exceptions, of course, but in general it's not such a good idea. So now I'll just, so let's keep in mind, so let's look at the alternatives. So 8-2, dumping a checker, certainly not a good idea. Running out to the 15, I mean, you can see the pip count here. We are down in the race, and as a general rule of thumb, before you make a racing move, when being down in the race, exhaust all other constructive options. So let's look if we have a more constructive option than running out to the 15. And indeed, you can enter on the 21, which is actually a place where you want to have that checker, because you want to get an advanced anchor, especially with 3 checkers back. And then you play 13-7, duplicating deuces, and your opponent is not too eager to hit one of these 2 outfield blots on the 7 or 11, because then he would have to break his anchor. So that's actually the best idea. And let's just for illustration purpose, let's just type in the wrong answer, which is D, splitting to the bar. And let's see what happens. Basically nothing happens. It's only shown to you that D was wrong, and then everything is the same. So actually no difference if you chose correctly or not, and you can still decide if you found how hard you found the problem. But in any case, you also can just click show answer without putting a letter here. I just find it better because otherwise you might be cheating on yourself, that you have an answer in your mind that was wrong, and then you see the right move and you ask yourself, oh, didn't I want to do that anyway? So if you type a letter here, then it's written down, and you can that keeps you honest with yourself. Okay, so 5-1 to play here. This is a classic situation where it's really important to get a good advanced anchor, because your opponent already has one threatening to prime you, and the best way to get to equalize is get an anchor yourself. And so 13-8 and the small split to the 23 is just not enough here. And you should just choose splitting to the bar. And that is the best play. Slotting is the wrong idea, especially simply because even if you make the point, since your opponent has already an advanced anchor, you won't be able to prime him. So, okay, so let's continue. Okay, this is 2-4-2 followed by 6-4, and here I immediately would discard making the deuce, and running seems to be a little bit weak, and slotting, I think it's an overplay. It just allows white to get back into the game with the 6, so I think here it's relatively clear to split to the bar, and especially the 8 point, your opponent's 8 point is stripped, so if he hits you with an ace, then he has to break the 8 point. So we won't press D, but just show answer. Just keep in mind that we would have done that, and you can see, okay, it wasn't D, it was A, it seems. I don't know. Anyway, it was splitting to the bar, and we got that right. So you can see making the deuce is really bad. So let's continue. Another position that reminds me of the old days, like 30 years ago, where it was common sense that whenever your opponent has escaped with his back checkers, you really need to split to the bar. But nowadays we know that it's a little bit, it's not as simple. And like in this position, white has the 3 point, which is a little bit deep, so white hasn't got, or white's priming game is not that strong. So these checkers on the 24 are not really in danger of being primed very soon. So that makes it less important to get an advanced anchor, and so which means that you just can sit there on the 24 and start building your board. Again, running to the midpoint, option B, doesn't seem to be the right idea when you are down 20 pips in the race. Better not race, I think. let's see if I remember this one right. So either A or D. Let's just put A. And yeah, D is almost as good. And running is okay. And splitting to the bar is wrong here. Okay, next one. So again, white has the 3 point. So we are not in immediate danger of being primed. We've got the bar point already, so clearly a priming game suits us. And he's got the checkers on the 24 still. So actually it's a good idea to work on our prime now and choose D, bringing 2 men down. Splitting to the bar, the drawback is that then you'll probably get hit and you simply cannot work on your prime, extend your prime. You are not in real danger of being counter primed right now, so you should just work on the offensive end, as you can see. So it's wrong to split to the bar, just work on your offense. Okay, this is another one. I think we saw this pattern already. White has an advanced anchor, and we know already, I think we can do this quickly. We have to get our back checkers moving, and another option of getting them moving would be splitting to the 22. But again, as in the example before, we just should try to get the better anchor and create a distraction even. So for example, white would love to make the 5 point with the 5-1, but when we split to the bar we would have a direct shot on the checker on the 10. So that is what I mean by creating a distraction. So we would choose D then, and you can see correct again. I mean, I have to admit, since I created this, it's really easier for me to find the right answers, but this is just for practice. And the main purpose of this video is that when you quiz yourself and get the position wrong and don't really know why your choice is wrong, here are the explanations. So this one can be dealt with quickly. Same concept, just split to the bar for the same reasons. Okay, so not much to talk about this one. Okay, this is again an interesting one. So you enter with the deuce, and now one key aspect is how big the threat of your opponent is of priming you. And here again the blot is on the 3 point, so white will cover the 3 probably. So these back checkers are not really in danger for now of being primed. So, and again, if you split to the bar, we have all these hitting numbers, 6s, aces and deuces, and 3s and 5s that cover. So that means you don't need to count all the rolls, but with this diversification, 5s, 3s, aces, deuces and 6s, you know there are tons of hit and cover rolls that hit you on the bar and cover the blot on the 3. So that means not a good idea to split to the bar, and the only other constructive option is bringing the checker down to the 7, which is correct. And now let's look at what I call the sister position. Almost identical, but with one small but significant difference. Now white's blot is on the 5 point and not on the 3 point. So again, you enter with the 2, but now you can envision white making the 9, making the 5 point, and building a strong prime quickly. So here you have to be more active. You cannot sit there with your back checkers. So very similar position but different solution. Here you should split to the bar. And again, this is a function of the priming threat that you are facing. Here it is much bigger. This could become a 5 prime quickly, so you have to play more actively. And you can see splitting to the bar is clearly superior to bringing the checker down, unlike in the example before. Okay, so this is another important concept. You could either split to the bar or sit there on the 24 and build your front position. And one aspect that you should consider when you split to the bar is the aspect, the question, do I really want to make it? And here, actually, since white has escaped with both checkers, you actually don't want to make it, because that if you make the bar point, white could just play safely behind your anchor, and you really want to create contact. So why split to the bar when you don't want to make it? And here the mistake is significant, as you will see. So I would make the small split to increase contact, 24, 23, solution A, and move to my own bar point. So, and splitting to the bar is just the wrong idea here, because as I mentioned, you just don't want to make it on the 24 point. Right now you've got more contact. Okay, next 2, 4, so 2, 5. Okay. So you enter on the 23. Again, there is a blot, same picture pattern. If you split to the bar, there are tons of hidden covers, and so you just should stay back and bring another checker down to the 8. 8 to 3 is not an option. Putting an extra checker on the 3 just doesn't make any sense. So this pattern is really something that you should keep in mind. Whenever there are blots, your opponent has blots in his home board, and especially on the 3 point, be reluctant to split to the bar. We have seen that already in various examples. So it is B, and what we got here, and here we see that every rule should be taken with a grain of salt, because we just said, okay, blot on the 3, so I really don't want to split to the bar, right? Problem here is you don't have any safe 6. As you can see, the race is even. Bringing a builder down to the 7 and exposing yourself to 6s that are not even duplicated could, if you get hit, then you're way down in the race all of a sudden. So actually, I think in this position, probably best would be not to play a 6 at all, but since this is not allowed, you have to settle for the lesser of 2 evils. Also in this situation with the 8 point stripped, that is at least one argument that makes splitting to the bar a little bit more attractive. So the better of 2 rather bad options is indeed to split to the bar. This is always nice when you have a binary choice. Here you come in on the ace, and again, pattern recognition. You see the stacks, you see that you are not really in danger of being primed right now. You see the blot for the hit and covers, so then just don't split to the bar. And as you can see, it's a mistake. Okay. And compare, this is almost the same, but with an important difference. Now the blot is on the 9. And on the 9, this structure is much better for priming for white. And now, by going out to the bar, we again create this distraction, threatening the blot on the 16. So now it's a lot more attractive to split to the bar than in the example before. And so we press B. You can see just a slight change in the position, and that changes the play. And reasons are always like what you have to look out for is this creating distractions. Is my opponent better suited for a priming game, or are my back checkers in danger of being primed? And game plan considerations, very often there are also tactical considerations like counting the hit and cover numbers and all that stuff. Okay, this one is really difficult, I find. Now the 3-point is made already, so the 3-point is already covered, and white is actually in a really strong position here. And again, probably the best would be not to play the 6 at all, but now with the 6 you have to move it, so you have to find the best of all the bad options that you have. Certainly not dumping the checker on the deuce point. And yeah, like, since your opponent is already ahead in the priming game, actually over the board I wouldn't have known what to do, but going down, slotting the bar, your own bar strips your midpoint, so actually I remember this one as well, and splitting to the bar is correct. Difficult to find, I think. But now compare this with the next one, where the point is not made, but we again have the blot. And I'll show you the result first. Now it's actually the other play, coming down and slotting your own bar. Why is that? Now the 3-point is not covered yet. So the advantage of going to the 7 is that there are fewer hit and cover numbers. It's basically only 6-3, double 3, 6-5. And when you split to the bar, again, blot on the 3, hitters, lots of hitters on the 18. So almost every roll that hits also covers. So here then it's better to bring the checker down, because now like that you can exploit that blot. If you split to the bar, the blot on the white's 3-point, that is, if you split to the bar, you probably won't be able to exploit that blot, because your opponent will hit you and cover it, which is a lot less likely when you slot your own bar point. So admittedly, really a difficult one, at least for me. So this one, again, I wouldn't make the deuce point. And we have, again, a familiar picture, stacks inflexible position, so no real rush to move off the 24. And another feature we have here, that white has 4 checkers on the 8-point. We have seen already some examples with the stripped 8-point, that's just the opposite. So white would be really happy to hit you here if you split to the bar. So the more prudent route to take is just try and build your board. But as you can see, if you move, the checker from the, I'll show you the answer right away. If you move the checker again to white's 9 point, then we have again this creating a distraction theme, and splitting to the bar becomes the best play. So as so often, the devil is in the details. But if you start recognizing these patterns, I think it'll be a lot easier to get to correct decisions over the board. So this one here, so your opponent is on the bar, and so the question here is, do we really need the bar point? Already up in the race, will be 14 after the move, so it seems like we want to play a running game. So the best move for that game plan is clearly running out to the 16. That also duplicates fours, some fours like 5-4. And again, we have this feature here, 4 checkers on the 8 points, so white would be really happy to hit you with aces. So just choose the running plan. Let's put C, and yeah, I mean, splitting to the bar is not terrible, but yeah, just this is a good time to run. So what we got here, so this position is I mean, this is really very difficult, I would say, because there are so many conflicting there are some conflicting aspects. So we already had the rule that with the blot on the 3 and checker on the 21, you probably shouldn't go to the bar because of all the hit and cover numbers and all the good numbers that your opponent has. On the other hand, we have this rule when you don't have a racing lead, before you make the racing play, exhaust all other constructive options. So this is somehow conflicting. And especially the racing play, so moving to the 15 is not, I mean, the racing lead that you enjoy after that play, the 6 pips, is basically an illusion, because it's so likely that you will get hit and lose that racing advantage. So I'll show you the answer, and it's indeed correct here to split to the bar. I think I didn't find that over the board. It looked just too scary, but the principle here is basically you're already kind of with the back to the wall. I mean, lots of threats for your opponent. So when the next sequence is bad for you, you have lost anyway, after the running play or after the splitting to the bar play. But if you roll something good the next roll, you have much better chances to equalize the position. If you have, by that I mean you get hit, but then you roll a number that gives you an advanced anchor, either on the 21 or on the 18. So you're already in bad shape, so then usually the more challenging, risky play becomes more attractive. But again, this is a very difficult position, and on a very good day, I find the move, but probably not on a regular base. So just to show you that there are exceptions to every rule, and here it's just the overriding principle. Hope for if something good happens, then or you have much better chances that something good happens here if you have your checkers in the places like the 21 and the 18 where you want to make a point. So better chances to make a point, and if the next sequence is bad for you, you will lose the game no matter what you play. Okay, we are almost through. So again, we had this already a couple of times. Blood on the 22 is really a reason to split to the bar. I would say no. These checkers on the 23 and 24 are quite safe, and so you just should move like most of the time. When you see this structure, just move simply to the 8 point. Bar 18 would be an overplay here. Okay, and this is a very important to get one to get right. This is 4-2 followed by double fives, so a double fives position. And in these double fives position, don't split. Simply don't do it, because your opponent is stacked but has many checkers in the zone. So his plan is either running or attacking. So by splitting, you invite him to attack. While like in this position, your best chance is a priming game. You have the better priming point. You're down in the race. That means better timing for a priming game. So your game plan should be a priming game. So how can you achieve this this prime, or how can you put that priming plan into action? Either by slotting the 7 or the 11. Or by slotting the 5. Slotting the 7 and the 11 is a little bit more flexible, which is why it's the correct move, but you can see both plays are pretty much the same. I mean, we can look if there is a difference between these two plays in other situations, maybe. No, yeah, 13-5 is better, a little bit better in gammon safe mode, because it loses fewer gammons, one blood less, but really no big difference. But you can see how bad splitting is in this double fives positions. So, and this is the counterpart. This is a double 4 position, 3-1 followed by double 4s. Now this is like a mixture, because white has the checkers in the zone, but also has good priming potential. So again, unlike the double fives position where white's priming potential was very low, here it's actually quite high. And additionally, of course, white has the blitzing potential, but this additional priming potential already swings it towards splitting. You see, counter slotting now is a bad idea, simply because white has a good priming point already, and it's also much more significant or worse for you when you get hit, because white's structure is stronger. So you don't want to get hit here on your own bar point, that is. And again, as you can see, also very typical, you're down in the race, don't choose the racing move. Okay, so congratulations, it says here. So indeed, we have worked us through the bar split deck. Here again, where you can get it at Rainer's email address, I believe. And if you are interested in the Anki method in general, again, I recommend you to watch Rainer's video. And okay, so I hope you will get your deck, your free deck, the bar point split, and practice it. And if you get something wrong and don't know why, just check back on this video and you will find the explanation. Okay, so that was it. This was Dirk Schiemann. Take care, bye bye.